Hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Speed Bag. Today, a segment that I like to call, well, that's just precious, is what that is. UFC 199 is this Saturday night, and headlining the card is a rematch between UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold and challenger Michael Bisping. As you may recall, this one was not particularly competitive the first time they did it back in 2014 when Rockhold whooped up on Bisping and then submitted him in the second round. But still, this is Bisping's big chance. He has been angling for a UFC title shot for basically as long as Sage Northcutt has been alive as a person on this earth. Now he's finally getting it. Which is why, on a recent episode of UFC Embedded, when Michael Bisping was seen picking up his young son Lucas and asking him, who do you think is going to win the fight when Dad takes on Luke Rockhold at UFC 199, you can imagine that Bisping might have been in need of a little familial support right then. But what does Lucas do? Lucas picks Rockhold, like over his own father, with his father sitting right there, and somebody videotaping the whole thing.
Did you know I'm fighting to be the world champion, Lucas? Yeah. Who wins?
I think because he might be stronger.
He might be stronger?
Yeah.
All right, well, never mind that. There's one champion right now, and that's Luke Rockhold, and I get to fight him. Who's going to win?
I think he because he might be stronger.
You know, you should know better than to ask.
Why do you always say that I'm going to lose? Because you smell.
No!
Come on. Who's going to win?
I think him.
I think him.
Now, as was pointed out to me on Twitter, this is not the first time that young Lucas Bisping has picked against his own father. For Bisping's last fight against Anderson Silva, Lucas, again, he picked Silva. Although that time, I don't know, you go back and you watch it and it seems like it's kind of a joke that they're all in on. This time it felt like Lucas had carefully considered all the variables and decided, sorry, Dad, Luke Rockhold wins this fight 99 times out of 100. Now, two things about that. Number one, imagine the nerve on this kid, the iron will. We're talking about his father, the man who provides him with food and shelter, the man who holds sway over everything from bedtimes to future college tuition assistance. All that in mind, Lucas didn't even blink. That's a kid with principles, and I respect that. But number two, the best part about it might actually be Bisping's reaction. Because while he is clearly a little bit baffled that his son keeps picking against him, he's also, good-natured, bemused even. He has a real good sense of humor about his own son, his progeny, who he gave life to, looking him in the eye and saying, I think you're about to get beat up on Saturday night. And honestly, his response to it and the back and forth with his kids, it might be the most likable we've ever seen Michael Bisping. Also, and I realize that this might just be me, I kind of wonder if this is the extra little push he needs to get him to go out there and shock the world on Saturday night. Because, as awesome as it would be for him to go out and become a UFC champion, finally, after all this time, it's got to be nothing compared to the joy he would feel to go home to his family at the end of the night and take this win and just throw it right in the face of a 5-year-old.